Finally in 2025, Happy New Year's, guys. And just like any other year, I wish you guys health and wealth and safety and fun. And when it comes to dividend investing, a lot of passive income and a lot more overall growth, especially in comparison to how you might have done last year. Which, speaking of, I want to use this video to, of course, wrap up 2024 by going over how my entire portfolio did, not just when it comes to dividends, but when it comes to overall growth, the profits and losses I had, what I sold last month, what I bought last month, and what my goals are for this upcoming month. Last year definitely brought a lot of different financial related news that impacted the stock market, starting with interest rate hikes in Japan, which I didn't realize how big of a deal that was. I didn't look deep into it enough. Japan had actually been practicing negative interest rates for a very long time, and after inflation in Japan went up to 2%, they actually increased the interest rate to a range of 0 to 0.1%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that was going from negative 0.1%. And because that increased the value of the yen, that actually shook markets leading up to August. We had interest rate hikes in Japan, but we had interest rate cuts here in the US. 3 of them starting in September with a full percent, and I believe the last 2 being 0.25%. Bad news, the amount of money you might make in interest on a high yield savings account drops. The good news is borrowing money is a lot cheaper. And of course, that helped the stock market over time. What also happened to help the stock market, at least at the beginning, is how the United States election went. Regardless of who you voted for, we all would have noticed the positive results from electing Donald Trump. And now with the tariff concerns, the market ended a little bit iffy. But I'm excited to see what will happen for this year. But again, let's take a look at last year and see how my portfolio performed in December. But of course, before we get started, let me know in the comments below, how did your portfolio perform when it comes to dividends, growth, what you bought, what you sold, and of course, what are your goals for this year? For the month of December, I actually lost 2.39%, or about $393 in the past year. So December 31st of 2023, I made over 28.5%, so about $3,500, which is awesome. And then at all time at the moment, I'm at 45.72%. That means out of all the money I have in my portfolio, $5,025.87 is unrealized profit, which is really cool. And it's even better when I compare it to something like the S&P 500. When I actually compare it to the GSPC, which is an index of the S&P 500, my portfolio is 5.2% higher than what that portfolio is. So that's just a testament of the decisions I've made with the positions I bought, the positions I sold, and what I'm holding. So really cool stuff. All right, the IRA is something that I've only talked about once last year. I'll leave a video comment below if you guys are interested in that. But in the past year, my Roth IRA has increased by 23.4%. I made almost $4,000. So hopefully older me is getting more thankful by the day. The next thing we have are the sells and buys I made in December. Now, I actually didn't do any selling for the month of December. I've actually done a little bit so far this month, but I'll get into that in another video. But I did do a decent amount of buys to wrap up the year. For starters, I bought 0.23 shares of Target, so about $30. Then I bought 1.12 shares of SCHD, and 0.49, almost half shares of Nike, and then I rounded out the year with a little over a share in VT Property. So not much work done. These are all positions that I feel like have a lot more growth opportunity and dividend opportunity. I know Target has been a little iffy, but I really believe in this company in the long term, and I think they'll do great, alongside with Nike that had a little bit of a spike and then dropped down. That's also another company that I haven't really invested into in a while, because I've been focused on other companies like the V Cheese, which I also invested into, Williams-Sonoma, et cetera, et cetera. But I am a really big fan of Nike and a firm believer in the long term as well. Now, as you guys know, as someone that invests $30 a week, I probably say that a lot, there are a lot of things that are motivational for me to continue to keep going. That's looking back to see how my portfolio has performed in comparison to this point in time, and looking forward to see how my portfolio could potentially perform while still investing $30 a week. And over the past couple of videos, I've actually been giving you guys comparison on how my portfolio could perform if I just stopped investing and only relied on the dividend reinvestment from my current portfolio, and how it would look if I continued $30 a week. So here is what would happen if I didn't invest $30 a week and I just let it ride. As currently sits, my portfolio would pay me $381 per year in dividends starting this time next year. 5 years from now, my portfolio would pay me $565 per year, 10 years, $875 per year, and in 15 years from now, $1,384 a year. That's not bad at all if that's just money I want to set and forget and not invest money into if I need to work on something else. And this is what happens if I just had that $30 every single week. Of course, the current amount will stay the same, but 5 years from now, I would make $796 $1,086 per year in dividends. 10 years, $1,497. 15 years from now, I'd make $2,673, which is $1,289 more per year after 15 years if I invested $30 a week versus if I didn't. So just that small amount can make a big difference. And as I've said before, my goal is to hopefully increase the amount of money I can invest into my portfolio every single week. Just like a lot of you guys though, I have other things I need to worry about: student loans, credit card debt, other stuff like that, things I have going on in the future. So I have to make sure I balance it out to where I can benefit myself in the present and the long term with the Roth IRA and this current Robinhood portfolio, but I also take care of the stuff I got going on right now. Again, just like all of you guys. So something I'm working on. One thing I've started doing as a goal for this month and for honestly the entire year so far is to clean up my portfolio. That's something I introduced probably in the middle of last year, where I said I would review all the positions that I have and make sure they are abiding by the goal that I have, which is maintaining passive income while increasing overall growth. And I kind of specified that towards the end of last year, but there are still some positions I need to clean up, which leads to some of the sales that I've made so far, but I'll talk about that in a future video. So that's something I want to continue. And also, I want to increase the growth opportunity that I have with my portfolio without sacrificing too much of the passive income. If you've been watching my videos for the past few months, you'll notice that I mentioned how, based on my age, which currently I'm 32 years old, I feel like I'm in a fairly young position to where I can sacrifice investing in riskier positions rather than safer that give you a decent dividend yield with long-term positive impact. I want to be able to have a position that I know will give me a lot of growth, but again, still appreciative over the passive income. So that's going to result in me buying more of certain positions, maybe selling in others, or just investing less into them. That's some research I'm going to have to do over time. And if you guys have any advice on what positions I can look at based off my goals, definitely leave a comment below on those as well. The 2024 overall was great. Hopefully you guys learned a lot last year and your portfolio shined, and hopefully you guys aspire to have bigger goals for this year and portfolios do even better. But again, last year, as far as dividends, did pretty well. And I actually made a video here where I talk about how my portfolio did, not only for the month of December when it comes to dividends, but the entire year of 2024. It's pretty cool. So if you have time, make sure you check that out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Welcome to 2025. And until next time, as always, take care.